She's a real doctor for real. She has conducted research on non-human primates in Madagascar, Uganda, South Africa, India, Saudi Arabia. Her primary research interests include human-wildlife coexistence and self-medicative behavior in primates. She earned her doctorate degree from Kyoto's University Primate Research Institute in 2012 with a dissertation focused on geography, the study of soil consumption, spatial ecology, and human-baboon conflict in the Western Cape of South Africa. Following the completion of her doctorate, Dr. Pebsworth joined the Department of Anthropology at the University of Texas in San Antonio as a research associate. She subsequently held postdoctoral fellowship at the at the National Institute of Advanced Studies in India, where her research examined human macaque conflict in Himachal Pradesh and assessed the effectiveness of non-lethal mitigation strategies to reduce crop foraging. In 2022, she coordinated a project to estimate the population size, the size and density of the Hamadryas baboons in Saudi Arabia. Most recently, she was awarded a Fulbright scholarship to teach and conduct research at the University of Venda in Limpopo, South Africa. That Fulbright journey begins in January. Once upon a time, while her husband finished his military career, Paula and her 2 children were members here at UUNB, and as if she had nothing to do to keep her busy, she homeschooled her children and still found time to form the New Braunfels chapter of Roots and Shoots, an environmental education program for youth that was founded by Jane Goodall. While doing all that, Paula graced us from this podium with talks and workshops about our connection to the environment and by organizing our International Peace Day celebrations. Dr. Paula Pebsworth. Paula, welcome back.
It's a pleasure to be back. And I'll just say at the onset, so I don't forget, I appreciate you having me and allowing me to keep my Camino alive. And I just wanted to say, in May, I walked 400 kilometers along the Portuguese Camino. And today, I just want to share with you what I found, not just along the trail, but within myself and within the hearts of the people I met. So the Camino de Compostela is one of the most important Christian pilgrimage sites in the world. Over the centuries, pilgrims have walked to Santiago in northern Spain for spiritual growth, penance, healing, or simply to find peace. According to legend, the remains of St. James were discovered in the cathedral in 1812 AD. And now rest in a silver reliquary beneath the cathedral's main altar. The Camino de Santiago, or Way of St. James, is a network of pilgrimage routes stretching across Europe. All roads lead to the Cathedral of Santiago, except for the Camino Finisterre, which leads to the Atlantic Ocean. The most famous route is the Camino Frances, which begins in France and was featured in the movie The Way. But as you can see, there are many, many paths. Pilgrims carry a credential or pilgrim passport, which they get stamped along the way. If you walk at least 100 kilometers and get at least 2 stamps per day in your passport, you can receive a certificate of completion called a Compostela. Walking the Camino is a bit like a scavenger hunt. The path is marked with arrows and shells. The shells are the primary symbol of the Camino. In medieval times, receiving a shell was proof that one had completed the journey. Today, it represents the shared purpose and spirit of every pilgrim. As you're walking, you get your pilgrim passport stamped at hostels, cafes, and churches. It becomes both proof of your journey and a beautiful memento. Once you arrive in Santiago, you bring your credentials to the pilgrim's office. There, they verify your journey and present you with a Compostela certificate, which is written in Latin. My Compostela is on the left, and the second certificate I received from walking the Camino Finisterre. I began my Camino in Porto, Portugal, and walked about 400 kilometers in 14 days. I first heard about the Camino over 10 years ago from an 80-year-old woman who had walked several Caminos. I was discussing this with Lynn. I met her at Fossil Rim, and they put together every year this Taste of the Camino, where you can go and learn about the different Caminos and what things to bring and prepare yourself. People walk the Camino for many reasons: spiritual, religious, physical, or emotional. I walk beside people contemplating their marriages, their jobs, their direction in life. Some were grieving, and others were celebrating. I met many first-time pilgrims like myself, but also veterans like Hugo from Belgium. He was 87 and walking his 10th Camino. He told me he usually just opened his front door and started walking. This year, his wife insisted that he take it a bit easier. So he took a train to the starting point in France, and then he walked over 800 kilometers to Santiago de Compostela. We met at the end of the Camino, an additional 100 kilometers west of Santiago in Finisterre, found on the Atlantic Ocean. In times past, this was the end of the Camino, and where pilgrims received a shell and thought they had reached the end of the world. Looks like it, huh? For people who walked several Caminos, they gave various reasons. One person said they wanted a do-over, to do it more mindfully. Other people said they wanted to experience other Caminos and what they have to offer, and to take time to reflect upon life. A group of 7 friends from Portugal walk a different Camino every year. They told me it's a chance to push themselves physically, reconnect, and enjoy the journey together. One of their members said he walks every year to hear what the Camino has to teach him. This year, he told me, that voice told him to seize the essentials that are around you every day. Sometimes we let important moments pass us by and fail to see the most beautiful things around us. Maybe because we're always searching for something better or bigger. In today's world, many of us feel disconnected, not only from each other, but sometimes from ourselves. We're navigating constant change, information overload, and deep divisions. The Camino reminded me that we long for shared purpose and connection. On the trail, we weren't just individuals, we were a community. We supported one another. We slowed down, we listened, we shared Band-Aids, ibuprofen, water, just to list a few. The Camino reminded me how healing it is to simply walk beside someone without needing to fix or judge, just to be there. As I walked, I realized how rare it is, especially in our modern world, to move toward a shared destination with so many others. Everyone I passed, young, old, fast, slow, we all greeted one another with Bom Camino. which means good way. We were strangers from all walks of life, but we shared a common goal to reach Santiago. I believe this is one of the reasons so many people walk the Camino. In 2024, almost 500,000 people received a Compostela. It's estimated, however, that the total number of people who walked a Camino was over 1.5 million. The reason I walked was for 3 reasons. To rediscover community, because traveling restores my faith in humanity, and because I could make the time. I had been wanting to walk the Camino for many years, and you will find once someone talks about the Camino, the next thing you know, another person talks about the Camino, and then another person, and you're like, okay, I get it. I need to make this happen. And so I had a window of time, and I took the opportunity. Additionally, I was waiting to hear whether I was awarded a Fulbright grant to teach and do research in South Africa. I wanted time to reflect, whether in disappointment or in gratitude. I found out just before my trip that I was selected, and so my Camino became a walk of deep daily gratitude. Walking a Camino is only one way to connect with a community, and I am looking at a room full of people, each with their own unique Camino. You will choose a journey that is meaningful to you. So what did the Camino teach me? Wherever your Camino is, embrace your journey. Life, like the Camino, is not about racing to the destination. It's the journey and being present in the moment, one step at a time. Recognize your strengths and resilience. There will be hard days, and you're stronger than you know. Rain, hills, and detours revealed unexpected strength. One day I walked over 20 miles and ended up meeting 3 amazing people who became my final walking companions. Our strength often surprises us, so does our capacity for connection. Be open to uncertainty. I didn't book lodging in advance. I wanted to be flexible. If I needed to stop, I could. If I wanted to go further, I could. There was beauty in the unknown. Some of the most meaningful moments happened because I left space for them. Keep it simple and be grateful. I bought only a few essentials, a few clothes, a bed liner, a raincoat, a fleece, and a first aid kit. Most days I washed what I wore and it dried overnight. If it wasn't dry, I strapped it to the back of my pack. Gratitude became extremely easy. A cup of coffee, a warm shower, dry socks, and a quiet night's sleep. And after a night in a shared bunk room, I became especially grateful that my husband doesn't snore. We need one another. We live in a time where anxiety, isolation, and division are common. The Camino reminded me how vital community is. Smile at strangers, ask real questions, have coffee with a friend, volunteer, give someone your full attention. These simple actions build the world we want to live in. As UUs, we strive to be connected, active members of our community, and to be a blessing to others. Again, this is a room full of people who show up. We know how to help others as well as the environment. And this was the goal of Roots and Shoots and the work we did together with our children so many years ago. We need reminders to also take time for ourselves, acknowledge our accomplishments and our many blessings. And finally, to heal. Forgive yourself, Forgive others, let go of anger and blame. As the singer Jewel once said, forgiveness is the needle that knows how to mend. And on the Camino, they say, the trail gives you what you need, not always what you want. Maybe that's true for life as well. So whatever your path, whether across oceans or right here in New Braunfels or San Antonio, I hope you will remember that you are not walking alone. May your steps be mindful, your heart be open, and your journey filled with gratitude and grace. And I wish you a bon camino. Thank you for allowing me to share my Camino experience. As always, this is one way that I'm keeping my Camino alive. And I really miss all of you, and it's just been lovely to be here. I still consider this my home. I'm going to finish with a little video that I made just so you can have a glimpse of what my Camino was like.